All right, well, we're going to get started. Hopefully everyone can hear us, who's called in. My name is Glenn Haight, and I'm Commissioner and Chair of the Commercial Fisheries Entry Commission. Today is December 10th, 2025. It's Wednesday, roughly 9:05 a.m. We are here in the Juneau CFEC office, and we've got a number of folks here, so that's great. We also have a call-in site, which we have folks who have called in. So this is a public meeting of the commission conducted in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. The meeting was noticed on the Alaska Online Public Notice System and sent to interested parties. We have public access here in the room and through our call number. Please know the meeting is being recorded. And once we're done with it, we'll get it posted online. So we'll have that to look at later on. It's a requirement of the Open Meetings Act. Those are so inclined, it's Alaska Statute 44-62-310, that agencies notice their meetings in a reasonable and consistent manner for CFEC. That is at least 2 weeks in advance of the meeting. For the majority of our permit holders, some 9,000, we send emails in a timely manner. For those we don't have emails for, we sent letters, and those went out early last week, so we know that didn't meet this particular requirement, for which we apologize. The OMA, the Open Meetings Act, advises governing bodies that if they don't meet these requirements, it's possible that any action taken at the meeting will be found void. Fortunately, we're not taking any action here. The meeting here is at a hearing, and we'll be listening to you and absorbing what you have to say. We do have a public comment period that runs through December 19th, and so we'll be taking written comments up to that point. If there's interest in additional public hearings, we'd be happy to hold them too. So I don't want to limit this discussion. Before going further, let's do some quick introductions. I'll start with fellow Commissioner Rick Green here.
Hi, everybody. Rick Green, Commissioner CFEC. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. And in the room, we've got Mele.
Yes, hi, I'm Mele Baake. I'm the Executive Director here at the Entry Commission. Welcome.
We have Josh Sanders here, who's in the room as well. He's holding down the fort, making sure we fly straight.
Yes.
IT things.
IT stuff. Thank you. Jennifer? Jennifer, can you hear us, Jennifer? Can you unmute yourself and say hello? Jennifer?
Maybe she can't hear us.
Jennifer, can you hear us?
I've said something if she didn't.
Okay. Let's go ahead. Jennifer, you there?
The nine's unmuted.
Okay, let's go ahead and pause. Sorry. Okay, we're going to pause for just 1 second. We got to get Jennifer online. She's our gatekeeper, so we have to have her.
Yeah, she can hear us, but we can't hear her.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, so the power outage really did, send us through a loop. Yeah, the computer, so mine crashed twice this morning. Yeah. Check it out.
At the Acres office, or is she have the ski hill in Alaska?
She skis in Alaska. Yeah. But she's downstairs.
Great backdrop she's got.
Man.
That's the AI Josh, so it's only halfway down.
He's floating.
So funny. Zoom, messing with us. This is attached to the docking station in the back.
Nothing's working.
We can hear you now. Hey, we can hear you now, Jennifer.
Oh, they can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay,
So I'm asking if Daniel.
Yep.
all right, I'm good. So,
Josh will come back up.
I'll
We'll
close the door.
we'll restart and
Fixing and stuff, Josh?
No.
I apologize. Everybody came searching for Josh at that moment as well. And I think something happened when I answered the phone. So, I'm sorry. I'm Jennifer Finley. I'm the
wait,
law specialist. So, Hi.
Wait a second. We're gonna wait to restart when Josh comes back up.
Oh, okay,
We're on,
wonderful.
we're on pause, which is fine. Thanks, Josh.
No problem.
Okay, I'll say that. Yeah. Okay, so you can start, go ahead and restart anytime.
We're still, we don't have a pause button.
Okay. Well, then, there we go. Jennifer, go ahead and,
Yes.
please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yes, I am here and we're good to go.
Jennifer Finley, our law specialist. She's also going to serve as our gatekeeper. So we really had to have her on board. We also have Robin Loreth, who's our adjudications officer. Robin?
Hi, yep, I'm Robin Lorth. I do adjudications, the hearing officer and records officer for CFEC.
Great, thank you. And Dan Strong, our IT, another IT programmer, is online as well, probably to help out if something further happens. Okay, so Josh, before we go any further, so you're doing something here, but do we have everyone admitted who's called in? I think we probably do.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, real quick, I want to discuss the agenda. There really isn't a great agenda for this. This is our chance to listen to you all and hear from you. So I don't have any formal agenda to offer. Always asked to discuss authorities. So we're here because of this Administrative Order 360 that was issued by the governor. And that's really what we're doing here today. But otherwise, generally, we have some authorities under Alaska Statute 1643-110, regulations and hearing procedures, gives us some instruction when we're looking at proposed regulations, which we're not doing here, but it could lead to that. And then Alaska Statute 1643-120 is the application of the Administrative Procedures Act. That the Administrative Procedures Act is basically the legislature's instructions on what agencies are supposed to do when they create regulations, and so we're to follow that, and that's pretty basic. So a little bit about this Administrative Order 360. This was issued on August 4th of 2025 with the purpose to, quote, improve the quality, transparency, and efficiency of the state's regulatory environment. So as it relates to this public hearing, agencies were to solicit written and oral input from the public regarding regulations that are most burdensome and should be prioritized for reform, and how the agency's regulatory system should be reorganized or simplified. So that was just the general to do, and all agencies are having these kinds of meetings, hopefully. With the administrative order, we received two other documents, and one was the implementation strategy for Alaska's regulatory reform initiative, and the other was the regulatory reduction guide. So I'm just kind of going into this detail because we sent you a public notice that didn't really go into much of this detail. So it's important for context so that you guys know what we have to sort of glean out of this thing as we go. So what we were to do through these documents is for agencies to go line by line through their regulations and identify those that are discretionary. So for agencies, we write regulations oftentimes to clarify statutes, which is written by the legislature. And we are not to write anything that conflicts with statutes nor the Constitution. So there are some things that in regulation that are directly linked to a statute or to the Constitution or to, say, a court order, things like that, or maybe a federal law. We can't change those. Those are not discretionary, but we could add on to some of those requirements in certain ways. And so those are discretionary. We were to go line by line and count all of those up, discretionary requirements. And those were to be reduced by 15% by the end of 2026 and 25% by the end of 2027. There's no real discussion about how impactful the discretionary requirement is. You know, we could have 1,000 and one requirement might be a lot more impactful than another, but it didn't account for that. So it's just really an exercise of adding up our discretionary requirements. Also, the guidance identified that any guidance documents we have, any policies and procedures we have that impact the public, any previous decisions that we have, they're all part of this review and can be part of this calculation. So for us, this is a big exercise to do this kind of thing. We think it's valuable and we think that all agencies hopefully are looking for improvements all the time. I know we have, well, I've been here. But it's still a daunting exercise. We have over 150 pages of regulations, half of which implement limited entry fisheries. So they haven't been acted on in 20 years, but they're there. They're almost all discretionary because they were based on what the commission learned when it went through those processes. But they're no longer acted on. We have had probably about 3,000 in-house adjudications, meaning appeals in-house. Many of those creative decisions we act on today. We've had 500 Superior Court decisions from CFEC issued, 80 of which led to Supreme Court decisions. We have several dozen forms, which are probably what we would consider guidance documents. So we want to hear about those. We have an IT system we're currently modernizing, which we think that's part of this process because a lot of good positive things have come from that. So we want to hear about anything you would like to see change with that. So I wanted to offer that as an introduction here. Fortunately, what we're doing today is much simpler than that. We're hearing from you guys and any changes you'd like to see with us. So one thing I just want to talk about, it's kind of not really, I think, fair to say, hey, what do you want us to change in our regulations? Because that doesn't have a lot of context. So there's just general things our regulations do that I think are more meaningful for you guys in terms of thinking about what to offer to us. And I'll just give you a list of things that we think about when we think about regulations. Some of those things include permit and vessel fees, permits necessary for non-target species, permit renewal process, the permit transfer process, emergency permit transfers, fishery codes and administrative areas, the residency definitions, maximum number of entry permits, interim use permits, the permit non-renewal process, things about the permit cards, like you need to have identification, how to get replacements, physical versus digital. We have educational permits. We have regulations dealing with the use of an agent, estate and beneficiary issues, the adjudications process, demerit point system, confidentiality rules, and how to get information from us. They're all part of the regulations, and then fees for services rendered. Okay. Okay, so yeah, those are some of the general topics that we have. We'd love to hear about. I'll talk real fast. Commissioner Green, do you have anything else to add to this discussion? Yeah.
I think it's important to note that this is an exercise by the governor to try and make the Alaska state government more friendly to users of the state government and Alaskans to experience Alaska. And that seems to be the real impetus for this exercise.
Great, thank you. So one of the things in this that may not come as a great surprise. The written comments we received today, which are great to have, but most of them don't really pertain to CFEC. A lot of what we hear from people relates to the Board of Fish Authorities, and so that's fine. When we get into public testimony, I'm not going to worry about policing that too much. I think it's important for people to say what's on their minds, but we are sort of very narrowly focused on the kinds of things that we can act to and react to based on what you say. So I just want to throw that out there. Our window is pretty small. And a lot of what you will say related to CFEC deals with statutes, and that's great, but we can't change that. That's the legislature. So we can take the feedback and we can share it with them, and we would advise you to do the same. So if there's something you want to change with the actual Administrative Act, that's your real target. Okay, so at this point, what we'll do is we'll set up for the public testimony. And so I have some instructions here. And if we have some patience, that'd be great. Doesn't seem like we have too many people on, so that's a good thing. But here's the instructions for how to participate if you're calling in. Now I'll start by saying if this doesn't work for you, we should have. Now, Josh, do we have that posted on the webpage? Okay, thanks. On our webpage, we have some emergency instructions. And so if you're calling in, get out pad of paper and a pen real fast here. I'm gonna write this down. If you can't access us, we have some instructions on our front page of our website. It's www.cfec.state, spelled out, .ak.us. Again, www.cfec.state.ak.us. Okay. Also, Jennifer is our gatekeeper and lifeline, and her contact information is on there, but I'll give that to you as well. Her email, which is probably the best way to get a hold of Jennifer if you're having trouble. It's jennifer.finley@alaska.gov. I'll spell that out. It's Jennifer, JENNIFER spelled FINDLEY @alaska.gov. She can also be reached at 907-790-6940. Again, 907-790-6940. But I think that's probably not the best way to get a hold of her right now. Okay. So here's what you will do. If you wish to provide public testimony on your keypad, your phone keypad, please hit *5. And if you hit *5, what happens in our system is your hand is raised, and so we can identify you as someone who wishes to speak. Ms. Finley will take down the numbers and compile that list of those that wish to speak. And then once we see how many people we have, we can set up the time allotted for testimony. So we'll size up how many people want to talk, and from there we can figure out how long we'll do that. Okay, so with that, what we'll do is we'll take a break. Anyone who wishes to provide testimony, please hit on your keypad *5. I've seen 2 so far doing that. So we'll just take a break, and once Jennifer's done, we will go from there. I didn't tell you guys, there's restrooms right around the corner there too. Okay. So we're still recording, but we're pausing formally. It is freezing.
My car.
Yeah, my windshield wipers are, not that I need them, but they're not. No.
I make the worst scraping sound ever.
I don't think I can get my.
I'll see my fingers that how the power is not going to go on in us because apparently since this morning, there's certain areas that they were having power outage at 7:30. Right.
It seems calm here, but it's violent out in Wind Canal. Okay. Yeah. You heard any stories, Bob? Probably no one was out there. I'd imagine.
Everybody's hiding.
I would. Yeah, my daughter, she's in Skagway. She took the Columbia up there, their family on Tuesday. And she said a gentleman who was working up to the pilot house clocked it at 98 knots.
Oh,
a gust.
geez.
Wow.
That's crazy. They're okay.
They made it.
Okay.
But solid 40 miles an hour. You know, it's 60 to 70. Yes.
Give you a new ferry system procedure to break ice. There they go.
Yeah.
Give them some baseball bats, kind of like that.
Yeah, it's a real thing. All right. Let's see. Jennifer probably is trying to communicate with me and I'm not listening. Okay. Heard to see you guys all want to provide some remarks.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay,
And
awesome.
if I could just get your name again.
Quinn Branch.
Are you here in town?
Yes.
Okay.
Live here.
Okay, yeah, and you're my daughter. Oh, yeah, Lobby,
Mhm.
volleyball player or JD.
Well, I'm going to go on the loan this year, so I don't really go to school anymore.
Oh, interesting.
don't think I ever, but it sounds familiar.
Bob, got you. And your name, you again?
Christy.
Christine?
Stanford.
Stanford. Thanks. All right.
Yeah. Citizen participation, that's kind of what the commercial business of the state's all about. Yeah, it's just a really cool thing. I know it's daunting, to go to meetings or places where you're gonna speak, but it's really, really awesome. You're
Thank you.
Yeah.
relax, enjoy it. Everybody wants to hear what you have to say.
So, I've
Really
learned
cool.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
It's really good advice. Yeah. That's the truth too. It's really not, people get sort of anxious and concerned, but really what everyone wants to know is not how anxious you are, nervous you are, it's what you have to say.
Mhm.
100%.
And sometimes I did the Board of Fish forever. We're a lot farther away from people doing public testimony, like 15, 20 feet. Rarely could you tell someone was nervous until they said it.
Right.
Maybe it's my bad eyesight, but
that's for that.
yeah. But it's really what you have to say. It's critical.
17. What's commercial fishing for 3 years now? Grandpa,
Yeah.
Who's your grandpa?
Rich Block. You know him?
Yeah, he's in Kodiak now.
Mhm.
What do you know him? Yes, that was my grandpa.
So it's sitting at the bottom, South Kodiak, Altac.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah, my rock.
Mhm.
How many people were fishing there this last summer?
Ooh,
30?
yeah,
Like kind of permits wise, yeah.
yeah. One of our permits was a fish. We have that, I think, people, Josh Point, interviewed Kevin Fisher. He didn't really fish all of his permits. He was like 15, I think.
Oh.
On the permits. He owns a lot of camps. Kind of building monopoly up there.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, good.
Yes.
Good. I've met your grandma. Okay, Jennifer, I don't see Jennifer on anymore. I feel like maybe we've lost her. So, okay, well, I guess if we can, we'll get back on the record and get started again.
Mhm.
So I have here, let me get back to some instructions. Okay. Right, so what I have here, we've got in the room, we have Quinn Branch. All right,
Oh, okay, Josh, you're troubleshooting.
okay,
Um,
we can go ahead and start though, probably.
Okay.
We'll see. If we have to stop, I apologize. This is just, we're having gremlins in the system today. In the room, we've got Quinn Branch, Bob Thorstensen, and Christy Stanford. Here to provide testimony. I also see online we have, and I just have phone numbers. And so when you come online, we'll ask for your name and perhaps where you're from. But I've got phone numbers 503-708-6907. I've got another phone number 907-321-0984. And then finally, just a third one, 907-299-6889.
Mhm.
So really it's 6 people and we've got 2.5 hours. So let's just say
So we have 32 minutes each.
32 minutes each, yeah. So let's just say 10 minutes and we'll go with that route and I won't be too worried about time. Now, we're not going to get into a lot of or any back and forth, right? We just want to hear from you. And I'm not going to, again, worry too much about whether or not what we talk about is really on point for us. But here's some instructions for those they're calling online. This may be where we do need Jennifer. but I'll give the instructions right away, then we'll pause, and make sure we have Jennifer on. So for those online, when I call out your phone number, what you'll want to do is you want to hit on your keypad again, *6. That will unmute you. We will send you a prompt, and then you'll hit *6 again, and you should be live. And hopefully that'll work out. So again, for those, when I get to you and we get, I'll call off your phone number, you'll hit *6, you'll get a prompt and hit *6 again. It should be live. So hopefully that'll work out. Okay.
And for our live test, here in the room, if you would take the seat here when you come up to do your,
What a good idea.
yeah, would be great. So that way everyone can give you undivided attention, see what we see at that.
Okay, just in terms of the testimony, I'll only jump in, if the talking points are completely irrelevant to the subject matter, or if you're in civil or use excessive profanity. So I don't see that as being a problem here at all. I just want to let folks know. And again, if we get to the end of 10 minutes, I'll just try to jump in and let you know. But again, we won't be too worried about the time. We don't have many folks. Okay. We do one other thing. On our public notice, we had something that said we'll be taking, people want to give public testimony up to 10 o'clock. So we'll just be looking to see if anyone else shows up. I'll add them to the list if that happens. So, all right. Quinn, do you want to lead us off? Great, thanks.
Hi, everyone. My name is Quinn Branch, as I've already been introduced. I'm a high school senior and a commercial fisherman. I'm an SO4K Kodiak Setnet gill holder. I've now been fishing for 3 years. It's a family-run operation. My grandfather, Papa as I call him, owns the business. I one day wish to take over. My Papa and his wife, who I call Nana, have acquired four permits over the last 53 years fishing. At first, it was co-owned by my Papa and his parents. The permits they acquired were put into their names and children. And as they got older, eventually, those same children grew up, left home, and stopped fishing as life washed them away. Papa, also known as Rich Blanc, some of you may know, had to find ways to keep the business alive, which is where the transferring of permits comes in. Each summer, new crewmen came in, some multiple years in a row, some only 1 year. Each new crewman needed the permit transferred into their names. In this process of doing so, Rich found a way to completely do it by the book, a way that was not forceful and followed all regulations. He formed a partnership between himself and the person he was transferring it to. That process has been halted. Now, for the family business to stay alive and the permits to continue, some regulations need to be changed. Regulations regarding permit transfers should be mindful of the families that survive on the transfer of permits each season to new crewmen and to family members. The regulations of permit transfers have caused more than one gray hair to add to the already existing ones I've provided on his head. The stress now of figuring out how to transfer the permits to keep the set alive, to keep the business alive, to keep the family we've built fishing alive. These regulations need to change. By revising regulations in such a way there can be a new transfer that allows for permits to stay within families, change can promote a sustainable way of life for fishermen and less paperwork and money for the CFC. As we work hopefully together to promote a productive environment for both sides, by making it easier for family to transfer permits, it would streamline the commission by reducing public costs, improving the efficiency of procedures, application requirements, and review processes, reduce administrative burdens, improve communication procedures, provide greater transparency with respect to standards, decision-making, and rationales for application processing. There has to be a new way of transferring permits without making people who've worked their whole lives to create a family business feeling like they're seen as criminals. My grandpa would like to transfer it into his grandson's name. However, that cannot be done. He was told without an administrative hearing. I want to see a future in the fishing industry for myself and hopefully for my future family. But if things don't evolve to lift the burden on all of our shoulders, my family business that has been built over the last 53 years through sacrifice, sweat, and hard work will not be around for me to pass on to my kids one day. So I think finding a new way to transfer these permits that being legal and within families can be really beneficial, not only for us, but for the CFEC, for paperwork, money, just all around stress. I can't imagine on either sides it's been good, helpful, or healthy at the moment. Finding new ways to transfer, allow that transfer of permits. Very.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Appreciate it. I just have one question. And so your grandfather's grandson, who he wanted to transfer the permit, he was probably, young,
Yes.
a minor. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got transferred through medical, I
Uh-huh.
think is what it was called.
Emergency transfer.
It's, an administrative hearing.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, the just as a general comment, yeah, if you want to put a permit in a minor child's name, if under a certain age, it automatically goes to administrative hearing and that's some little process, but
What is the age?
it's, if you're on a boat, it's 14. And if it's a set net operation, it's 10. And you presume that couldn't be hearing at that age.
Right, he's 11, or
Yeah.
maybe a little bit close.
Yeah, maybe we can follow up on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Okay. All right, then we'll have Jennifer. Okay. Bob, you want to take the, you bet, let's do the throne.
So, to begin with, I want to make sure that you commissioners know the people that work here. This has been a special agency, a special division of state government for as long as I can remember, since I was a little kid. And the way you handled our fishing industry, the way you handled our permits, renewals, the problems we have at times with information, it doesn't fit the regular agency status of most other agencies because it's really not funded by government, it's funded by our fees. And so I remember a few years back, somebody was complaining a couple governors ago about how we could be more streamlined. And I'm like, well, these aren't just like 12-month sport licenses that go away. These are people's complete livelihood. It's about $1 billion permit bank. It's the main thing for state fisheries. Across the board, it's the finest system that's ever been put together by any agency or any state or any government, and so it's been. I mean, for starters, this is just a remarkable people have worked here, the commissioners worked here, the office staff, the managers. It's been just like an unbelievable positive experience that I don't see almost anywhere else. And, I mean, DMV, everybody else tries to be nice. I haven't been to the correctional guys yet, but it's just a different kind of agency, and it's funded, self-funded by fishermen. So I would sometimes hear complaints come out, but the ones that really wanted to eradicate this department and change things dramatically usually are people that don't have permit cards. They're not involved in commercial fishing. They see it as a way to get rid of us. Like different lobby interests from different constituencies, the non-commercial fishing constituencies, etc. So, I mean, to start out with, when you go and you decide to streamline an agency, there's kind of a penny wise, pound foolish, way that a person could go. And there's extra steps that CFE has to take. There's sometimes you have to make an extra phone call and have more of a personal touch because we're not all a bunch of rocket scientists that are fishermen. There's a reason why we're fishermen, and even some of the more educated ones that have tough time doing their paperwork right. And then things change. It's kind of a bit of a complicated system. I miss both births of my daughters because if I was in a farm or a regular job, I would have given this stuff to my farm man, give my permit, walked out for a week or two, got to see the girls be born. But that was gonna happen here. And so I can see in the future, some changes. One of the things that we sometimes don't anticipate what's coming down the line, the next 3 years, probably won't see, a lot of people trying to shut our boats down because we use too much petroleum products. But 3 years ago, if you asked the people who were running the country then, they probably would have had us in electric boats, And 50 years from now, they're going to let all of us boats run around with their generators running, their power skips and all our equipment. How many people are they allowed to go out and catch a finite amount of fish? Our efficiencies have changed dramatically when CFAC started. I'd say probably the average fishing operation is between 3 and 6 times more efficient than they were back then. There's a whole lot of kind of future looking systems that CFAC needs to look at. And there's fisheries that are kind of on the edge. We built some boats 12 years ago in the center of the Bering Sea, and the state had a 0% share of the pot caught in the Bering Sea. This year, the state has 13%. And really, except for Fish and Game, you guys we're pretty much the most responsible agency for watching that, seeing what happens coming down the line. As fishermen aren't asking for any kind of limit entry. We're not trying to slow it down, but the people that don't like us in the Bering Sea have been asking for years already, like, we want to limit those guys. It's complicated because it's the bycatch issue that we actually do something about. We hear about these bycatch committees, and then we've gone from taking the 13% of the Bering Sea, we can guarantee that's bycatch free because that's what we catch with 7x7s. So there's things like that with new fisheries that you have to predict a little bit. You have to do some research and study and decide, how involved the state wants to be. And if it falls in your lap, or you need to promote it, one way or the other. The new fisheries are a big deal, and there will be some more coming down the line. The biggest, though, I think probably is, we did buyback, a fleet consolidation program, and it took us about a decade and a half to put it together. It's only one that's been done in the state. And once we got done, there's a lot of complaining and gnashing of teeth in that 15 years. But once it got done, we never got a single complaint from our own fishermen. The only complaints we got were from other fishing groups that we didn't do it for them as well. There's, certainly Cook Inlet is kind of an obvious example. And it becomes complicated because you've got the whole set net permit issue. You can't make a living off just having one set net permit. You got to have some senators have, but a whole slew of them, and you have to. It's complicated. I think the fishermen, when we asked for limited entry back in '74, we wanted owner on board. We wanted to not have them be incorporated and whatnot. We wanted to have control in that way, but. Those of us that were around back then, I was just 12. But, I think that, once they get to be 70 or 80 years old, they're kind of like, I don't know if the owner on board is really a great idea. And we've gone from, I think we're about 10.3 years older, the average age of fishermen. And everybody gnashes their teeth and screams about that. But the average Alaskan worker is 8.3 years older, the plumbers, school teachers, and everybody else, nurses. So we're not really that far out, but some of the unintended consequences of regulations and rules that we put in place as fishermen, it's not you're going to install CFAC, but we put it in place ourselves because we didn't want to have this change and have people sitting in Arizona clipping coupons while some young bucks have to run the boat. But if you either have to go a little more in that direction, or you just have to give up this young fisherman thing. And I'm 62. And if I hand the boat over to a 31-year-old, the fisherman will all of a sudden get half as old, right? But I can't, right? Unless I get hurt or something. And so there's some ways I think that we could modernize and be a little bit more. I mean, there's nowhere in the world where you have to. I mean, Thailand or Malaysia or Canada, there's nowhere where you have to. You make an old guy get on the boat, you just can't hand the permit over to somebody. We just get an extra permit, but they're darn expensive. Or I'll just sit down and, watch Game of Thrones while my young guys are steering the boat, casting the fish. But it's a, there's certainly those types of regulations. What I really would mostly am here today to just counsel you we don't operate the same way as the other agencies. We're self-funded by our fees. And could you streamline things more? Yeah, but only if it's going to be help and make CFAC as good, as strong, as accessible, And I mean, it's been just a rock star agency to go and have regulations or jump through hoops or try to act like some other department, just for the sake of, streamlining. It's like, I believe it would be penny wise. I kind of found tools. I'm sure there's things you guys have thought of, but I'd be awfully careful not to get forced into making this a less friendly system for your constituents and your taxpayer ratepayers, who are us. I mean, you guys done one heck of a job the last 50 years, and it's now that if it's not broke, don't fix it. But it's worse than that sometimes. I think sometimes the government we get that whole sentence screwed up, and we just go start breaking things. And especially people don't like you. I think people that have pushed us to do different changes in CBC. I mean, it got to a point where, about a decade ago, we had some, legal action against the prior administration. It got to be a point where the people that wanted to mess with our system were people that were outside our system, and we're not the sport fish agency. We're not the subsistence agency. We're the commercial fisheries and the commission. And you guys have always supported us, stood by us, and helped us get to the grounds on time, helped us when we had issues with transfers and whatnot. It's been the most effective agency I've ever seen in any state I've ever spent time in. And just keep up the good work. Don't let anybody be around their cage too much. And if they do, just give me a call. Yeah, lots of time.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Marks.
I think my laptop's fried.
No worries. Yeah, we're going to take a quick pause here, and then we'll get to Christy, but then we gotta get Jennifer online here. Or were you going to be you're going to be the one that would deal with star sixes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So maybe if this point work, Josh, maybe Josh.
Here, I'll slide here because I need to leave.
Okay, that's fine. We'll use this chair then for
That's-
just a moment.
Okay.
Sorry, I need to be able to see the phone numbers and stuff. I can't see that.
6907. 981. 689.
Left.
Yes.
Feeling myself. Yeah,
Those are the only three that want to raise their hand.
probably
So 6 rounds.
early 2000s.
Here.
I just didn't want to say
And then-
stuff.
Which one?
I've always been with the state, but
89.
But Kodiak was trying to do a lot of things, especially Altec, a lot of marketing work they were trying to do. So. Or fish for a number of years too. So
Looks like we're number 3.
we got 3, yeah.
I'm gonna raise
Yeah,
their hand.
and so but Christy's gonna go next, and then I've got, the order I've got, that will be 6907, 0984,
then-
and 6889. This is listed
Yes.
as 3. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, are we good to go?
Have you asked that since everybody else came online? Because there were only 5 earlier and there were quite a few more. I don't know when you guys asked them to raise their hand.
Oh, it was just when we broke. Okay, well, at this point, I'll redo it. Excuse me, Chris. Well, we have some new folks who have called in, and if you wish to provide some testimony here, if you would please on your keypad, just simply hit *5. On your keypad, hit *5, and that will, on our side, it'll be the prompt, it'll be a little hand raise. And so, yeah, now we did, someone just, there you go. Okay, got you back, okay.
Okay, so
So yeah, if anyone else wishes to hit *5, please, or provide testimony, hit *5. Otherwise, we currently have online on our list, the three people we've got, phone numbers ending in 6907, 0984, and 6889. We've got 3 people
Okay.
still. Okay,
all right,
thank you for that.
thank you.
Nope, stop me anytime. Or you just, all right, Christy Stanford. Yeah. Please, thanks for coming in and
We'll come and take this Seems to have bird has to move. So I'm just trying to keep it from grabbing extra. There's some cup.
It's frozen. Whenever you like.
So, I just want to thank Governor Dunleavy for Administrative Order 360 and CFEC for sending an email. Listen to public comments for regulation changes to improve the commercial fishing industry by seeking the fishermen's input. And going off Bob's comments about CFEC and working with you guys over the years. You guys are very cordial and kind and easy to work with. We appreciate you. And I don't know who the emails were sent out to. I know a lot of the fishermen did not receive emails and some did. Just a side note there. So my name is Christy Stanford. I was born and raised in Alaska, currently residing in Wasilla and grew up in Dillingham, Alaska. I am a third generation Bristol Bay salmon commercial fisherman. We set net at Coffee Point, Nishigack Bay, and Dillingham. I was one of the original commercial limited entry permit set net holders 50 years ago. Thanks to our fishing grandparents back then, who taught us how to fish and understood the industry. Over these years, I have fished a permit or have kept it fishing in our families as part of our culture for my kids, grandkids, and as an opportunity to our region's young Native men who love to fish and are carrying them out. This past summer on July 16, 2025, we were denied a permit transfer. With 7 days remaining in the season, we had to stop fishing. This was the first time in 50 years that a transfer had been denied. And going off of Quinn's comments about the urgency of the laws of the transferring and being the foundation major issue with us fishermen, it is true. And it sounds like that needs to be pursued through the statutes, my understanding. So that is one of my main concerns. And the fishermen are the transfer situations and the permanent transfers. And if the fishermen are sought out for the reasons why the permits have left the regions, you will get understanding of the problems with the transferring. And so there needs to be new statutes. And so today I'm going to just focus on what happened after this transfer was denied. When we received the notice of denial, I immediately really reached out to our local ADF&G department in Dillingham and CFEC in Juneau. I was informed the only option for an appeal is to request a hearing. First, by submitting a written request for a hearing, and then, if it was approved and granted, the possibility of a hearing could be in 4 to 5 days. But likely not that soon because of the number of hearings taking place. We were out the rest of the season, a quarter of the fishing season. So as a fisherman, I'm here to express the urgency to streamline policies and procedures so the fishermen do not lose fishing time and for the benefit of all parties involved. We have a unique, one-of-a-kind type of industry, the largest wild red salmon run in the world. And this run comes fast and furious and it must be met with a system of regulations that reflect these time-sensitive needs. Our salmon fishing seasons are over for the fishermen, the crew, and the communities within 30 days. As fishermen, we know the urgency of every single day in a very short season to make an income. We know the fish don't wait for us. Every tide and every hour counts for our season. Therefore, there is a great need for an understanding of this type of urgency to the people who make and implement the regulations. The urgency granted to impart efficiency in the system should be as effective as the fisherman's short 21 to 30-day annual fishing season. Here's 3 ways that could streamline procedures to create a system of success for the fishermen, the economic health of fishing towns, and the commercial fishing industry. 1, a hearing should be granted immediately upon request when it is in the fishing season to avoid income loss to the fishermen, the crew, and the community. 2, training in the local, on-the-ground ADF&G offices to conduct urgent paperwork and hearings for fast-track efficiency and reduce administrative burdens in Juneau. 3, an inquiry into how many who work in the ADF&G and CFEC departments who have experienced any type of commercial fishing setting, such as set netting from a skiff or from the beach, or drifting on a 32-foot vessel. A hands-on experience or on-site experience in these areas would give real understanding to the individuals in these departments as to how the system and regulations are affecting the fishermen and their communities. This understanding would give insight for regulation changes that need to be updated and modified in order to benefit the commercial fisheries system, the fishermen, the crew, the communities, and the regions of commercial fishing in Alaska. Thank you.
Thanks, Christy. I just have one question for you, just to clarify, and on the points you made. Second one, the training for the hearings to be conducted in the Fish and Game field offices, or for Fish and Game staff to be able to do that, or was that, just want to make sure I got that.
For training in the local on-the-ground ADF&G offices.
Okay.
To be able to conduct urgent paperwork / hearings for fast track efficiency.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Christine.
Thank you. How many questions I have as we go?
I want to run the,
Okay.
the Zoomers, but
We'll do it. Thanks.
anytime this week, be any questions, we'll chat.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate you coming in.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Thanks for having this meeting.
Thanks.
Thank you, Bobby. Nice to see you.
Hey, Christy, thanks for coming down from Wasilla. Yeah,
Yeah,
It's important.
appreciate it.
yeah, it's really an issue.
All right, so we're gonna give the online callers a shot here. And so again, you guys control this as we go here?
Yes.
All right. So the dance is this. I'll call out your phone number. If you would please then just hit *6. You should get a prompt that comes through, and then hit *6 again, and that'll enter you into the meeting. Okay, so we're gonna start.
We will actually unmute them.
Yeah, okay, we will do some unmuting on our own. Okay, so the first one I have phone number 503-708-6907. If you could please hit *6.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we really can. That's great. If you could please, just 1 second. We have another number that popped up, so I'm writing down right now. Yeah, if you could please give us your name and maybe where you're calling in from, that'd be great.
Yeah, my name is Kevin Fisher. I'm a Kodiak set knitter. I'm down here on the south end of Kodiak. I live in Mosier Bay, Trap Point. Yeah, I've been doing this for 35 years, so I've had a few transfers and had a lot of interaction with CFEC, and overall it's been very positive. And I'd like to put a personal shout out for Suzanne Rumsfeld, just because over the years she's helped out more times than I can say, and just a really great person, and done a wonderful job for CFEC and the image you guys portray. So thanks for that. I don't have too much other than one clarification thing on one of your forms could be way better. On your commercial fisheries entry commission gift affidavit form, it's very, very well put together, and it has a nice little spot for the notary stamp, and it's very clear on how to do that. But if you look at your CFEC permanent transfer entry permit request, there's no space left for the notary. And so to be approved, you have to actually put the stamp over the top of the wording of the document. And I find that to be very confusing for, people that are trying to transfer the permits. Most people, don't transfer permits a lot, and so they have a lot of trouble with that. They have multiple trips to a notary and back, and oftentimes even the notary doesn't understand how it needs to be happening because they're not used to having to go right over the top of the wording. So I think that simple fix on that permanent transfer entry, the permanent transfer form could be to make it similar to the affidavit form, where it has a little box and it says notary on there. So I realize they're trying to jam a lot onto a single page, but I think that it causes a lot of confusion. And I'm sure, I know at least in our operation, we've had permit transfers that, go in and back a few times where if that was more clear, it wouldn't have to happen, and that would save the department a lot of time and hassle, and certainly a lot of time and hassle for fishermen. So that's really all I have. I appreciate it, and you guys have a good day.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate that. Helpful to hear. Really appreciate that. Okay, we'll get to the next number here, but I do want to let caller from 907-317-5959 let you know we've got you here. We'll get to you after a few other callers. So at this time, if caller 907-321-0984, again 321-0984, could hit *6, and we'll see if we can get you on here. And hit *6 again. Good to go. Go ahead, please. You're on mute. Oh yeah. We're gonna unmute you. Okay. Please go ahead and say your name and start your testimony. Here we have them. We're not hearing you. We do the *6 again. *6 again.
No, he's unmuted.
Oh, okay. Now he's muted again. We'll get it. We have you you're currently muted right now.
We can hear.
There we go. Okay, now go ahead and try to say your name. You could be muted on your end. If you're on a phone, you may have your own phone muted.
Yeah.
They're unmuted on the right.
Yeah, if you're not muted, we can hear you.
Okay,
There we go. Gotcha.
Thank you.
Great. Your name, please.
That was very helpful. My name is Patricia Phillips. I'm calling from Pelican, Alaska.
Hi, Patricia.
Hello, Commercial Fisheries Entry Commission employees. Hello, Glenn. Yeah, so I want to start by saying that I use the website a lot and find it very helpful. And I also renew all our permits through the online access, and that is also very fast at getting our permits to us. So thank you very much. So my son has asked me to bring an issue to your attention. One thing that we've done is we have black cod IFQ, and my husband was the initial issuee, and we transferred the quota shares permanently to our 4 sons. And so at one time, we paid for 1 permit card for, fishing that quota. That quota is still fished on our same vessel. And now we have to pay for 4 permit cards because the sons, they have the quota share in their name. They have purchased it from us. So they have this annual cost of having to buy, the permit card. And then it used to just be 1 permit card. Anyways, it's a changing world out there. I mean, we've been in fishing, our entire lives. We're all tribal members. We all live in rural areas. I live in Pelican, and my husband lives with me here. My son has a home here. My other 3 sons have homes in Sitka and, families to support. But the business model is starting to, we're almost going backwards with all the increasing costs and everything, fuel, bait, insurance, and so this is one more thing where where it was one $1,000 permit, now it's 4 $1,000 permits. So, the CFEC is getting the benefit of an extra $3,000 because, we transferred our quota share to the younger generation. Okay, that's the one issue. The other is the emergency transfer for medical. We live in Pelican. We have gone 10 days without a mail plane. We're probably going to go another week without a mail plane, if not longer, just because, you know what it's like. It's freezing out here. Heavy freezing spray. If it's not cold, it's snowing, so they can't fly and make it here. And when you require, that you have to have a medical, sign off on somebody who has medical needs, it's almost impossible to do out here in Pelican, And I had another friend tell me, her brother is from Angoon, and he's suffering from cancer, and to try to get him in for, that form you got to fill out because you're medically, not able to go fishing. That's a hardship. And so I just, it would be simpler. There should be a simpler way to do that. And in fact, it's so complicated that my husband just said, I'll just go on board the boat. It's okay. And he really shouldn't have. So it's a safety matter. And then I think those were the 2 points that I wanted to bring to you. There's 3. Rural area. I live in a rural area, so it's hard to get access to some of the criteria y'all require. So anyways, when I've had issues, dealing with permits, the staff have been very helpful on the phone, and they've always returned calls very promptly, and so I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. Really, those, great points. Very helpful. Great. And Commissioner Green, I apologize, but if you have any questions as well, please jump in on that when we.
I will raise my hand and notify. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Okay, at this time, the next number I see on there is caller 907-299-6889. Again, 299-6889. If you would please hit *6, looks like you might have done that. You'll get a prompt and then hit *6 again. And hopefully, yep, I think we got you. If you could say your name and let us know where you're from, that'd be great.
Hi, can you hear me?
Can, yes.
Hi, for the record, my name is Eric Velsko. I'm calling from Homer, Alaska. We've been a longtime CFEC user or beneficiary, I guess, of our annual renewals. I want to thank you guys. A couple years ago, well, it's more than that now. It's like 5, where you streamlined the regs or the permit card requirements for the fixed gear stablefish. You just made it into one card. I used to have to get 4 cards to go halibut and
Right.
stablefish fishing. Once we switched to pots, there was that in halibut. So I want to thank you for that. On another note here, this is something I've been looking at for quite a while. I submitted a letter back in February 26th of 2020. I think it was Dale Kelly was the commissioner at the time. And this is when funding was starting to, I think, be an issue. I'm assuming it possibly still is today, but I think CFPC needs to look at the groupings on these permit cards moving forward. We've got, I think at the time when all the groupings for species was figured out, it was just a much different time in the fisheries. And so when I look at some of these fisheries that are massive extraction fisheries, and primarily in the Bering Sea, where they're catching hundreds of millions of pounds of fish, they're only required to get one $3,000 permit card. So I'm comparing these to, like our own operation, where we have 3 small entities, a Bristol Bay operation, and then 2 fixed gear 58-foot vessels. But I pay about $10,000 to $12,000 a year to renew our permits for those 3 boats. And then I look at, in comparison, a large offshore factory trawler might only pay $6,000. And their income is orders of magnitude, or their revenue is orders of magnitude higher than what ours is. So I look at it, and I have this is outdated now, but it had all the numbers. I was looking at just increasing adding one species to these cards. You could potentially generate another $1 million in revenue for CFPC. So I think that's something we should look at. We don't even designate those cards for the M cards is what I'm referring to, like M77GG, M7HG, M771G. They're allowed to cross boundaries to the Gulf of Alaska. So that's another distinction we could make. Maybe just make them have a Bering Sea card and a Gulf card. But I think there's a huge amount of money here that the state is missing out on. And I don't. It's not like I want anyone to pay a disproportionate amount, but I'm a firm believer in everyone paying their fair share, and this doesn't seem fair to me. And this is the same for I did what I did, and I can email it to you guys. You might even have it somewhere in your records, but I just compared 3 different operations: a small fixed gear operation, a larger fixed gear operation, and then a large factory trawl entity. And staggering when you see the differences. So you got some species here like Alaska plaice, arrow-toothed flounder, butter sole, flathead sole, northern rock sole, Pacific Ocean perch, short raker rockfish, wreck sole, rock sole, yellowfin sole, starry flounder, Atka mackerel. Those are all under one card, and these are not a couple tons here and there. These are thousands of metric tons of fish that's getting landed in Alaska under these one card. So I would take a look at that if just in a manner of fairness for everyone. Because you look at the other, in comparison, you've got everything broken out for crab and the area, vessel length. It's all fully distinguished for scallop, shrimp, octopus, snails, sea cucumbers, sea urchins, gooey ducks, clams, salmon, herring. All these really, really tiny fisheries where the economics of them are, the revenue generated from those fisheries is probably not even a fraction of a percentage. Some of these bigger ones. So, I urge you to take a look at that and moving forward. And I want to thank you for all the work you guys do. We've had lots of different interactions with you guys over the years, and they've always been good. We had a permit in my daughter's name that she cruised with me every year, but she was young. She started when she was 12, and we had to go through a process to to get the permit in her name so she could continue to fish with me. And so that was a real positive experience. And it seems like you guys are doing all your due diligence on that side of things. So I want to thank you for that. And that's all I have.
Thanks, Eric. If you wouldn't mind sending that, if you still have it, sending that letter or anything you want to maybe just to Jennifer. Her email is on that notice, jennifer.finley@alaska.gov. That'd be great. I wouldn't mind seeing that. That's a excellent point.
Yeah, I'll send it over. Thanks.
Oh, I appreciate that. I'm sure we have it, but I don't have it at my fingertips. For sure. Okay. Our next caller is the last one we have here. So if anyone else wishes to provide a testimony, please just hit *5. *5. That'll raise your hands. But otherwise, the last caller that we have today is 907-317-5959. Again, 317-5959. If you could please hit *6. And then *6 again once you're prompted. I think we have you. If you could say your name and offer your thoughts.
Good morning. Good morning, Glenn and commissioners and staff there. My name is Duncan Fields. I'm calling from Kodiak. I'm a fisherman, an original FEC permit issuee back in 72 or 73 when the program started. I'm going to avoid the topic of mutual concern, Glenn, but address the time frame for replying and the notice that went out with regard to the CFEC hearing. I think it was too short of a notice issued at a difficult time in the year. We've both noted that there are no comments, at least orally at this time, from any fishermen's group. I think that as I looked at Order 360, it indicated that the report was to be for the next fiscal year, which would be next June 1st. And so my first question is, why such a short period? I got the notice on November 19th, which was actually after the Comfish Show in Seattle. And the end of written comment is before Christmas, over the Thanksgiving holiday. So my first comment would be, I would encourage the commission to extend the comment period and perhaps hold another public hearing sometime in January, unless there's a deadline issued by the administration that wasn't apparent in Order 360 or that I'm aware of. So that would be my primary feedback at this time. I think that there's abundant opportunities for the commission to address a number of your bullet points, but I think the primary concern is to allow greater time for the various fishing organizations and other interested fishermen and stakeholders across Alaska to interface with the commission. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Duncan. I duly noted. Appreciate that. And Jennifer, you could just offer a quick discussion about the timeframes you've been given from the Department of Law and some of that.
Okay. So the meeting actually was set, we set this meeting back in September, maybe a few weeks after we got the 360. However, of course, we had to have that date approved by Department of Law and the Office of the Governor. And that took several weeks. Then we were trying to get a baseline count per the order of our regulations of what the discrete requirements were. And there have been some issues with that. And technically, we were supposed to have that done before the meeting, not necessarily as a timeline, but it would have been helpful. Unfortunately, we did have to have the meeting as soon as possible and in December because we are required to have a plan put together as to what we want to do. And that has to be based on the public comments and feedback that we received at this scoping meeting as any written comments. We we're not required to, with this process, to follow some of our normal time guidelines. However, we are accepting written comments. The Department of Law did request that we give at least 30 days. And so we have done that, which is why public comments can be received up until the 19th of December. And then we can start our plan. However, I don't think any of that precludes anyone from commenting, making suggestions via email, fax, in person, phone calls, that the commission, there is no reason that the commissioners and myself as a part of this process would have any problem in utilizing any further comments that are received outside of that noticed period. I think all of that would be taken into consideration. But we are supposed to have that plan to Department of Law by the first week of January, I believe.
Yeah. Thanks, Jennifer. So yeah, no, it's a good point. I just wanted her to offer that. We have some timelines, but I imagine what we can do is put preliminary on that.
Absolutely,
On the title.
yes.
It says preliminary plan.
Absolutely.
Because there's just really no way for us to fully vet all of this in the short time frame. We are, Duncan and others, we are trying to put together a survey that is more user-friendly to these questions. I mean, everyone here has done a great job, like sticking to CFEC stuff that we can influence and be involved in. But for the larger public, just to ask you to review our ratings seems a little bit, not really real world. And so we're trying to put together an instrument that will get more information, more finely tuned information that we can actually use going forward beyond this exercise.
And nothing says that we might not have more meetings on these topics in the future that would be in a similar frame like this, where we accept testimony.
Certainly, and I think we can, and if others would like us to continue having another hearing, please let us know through comment period. So yeah. All right, I just, I see Duncan has raised his hand again, so let's allow a response on that, and then we'll close it out. So Duncan, you need to hit star 6 again.
There he goes.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Duncan.
Thank you, Glenn, and thanks, Jennifer, for that additional clarification. I just want to restate that a couple of possible assumptions probably shouldn't be made. One is that there's lack of interest in these issues because there's lack of participation in the hearing today. I think that has to do a lot with your time. Secondly, I think that the fact that no fishing organizations across the state, UFA, and a host of other fishing organizations participated should give the commission pause relative to timing as well. I appreciate you're working under a number of constraints administratively, but Glenn, as you suggested, I would appreciate the commission's consideration of another hearing, presentation at UFA at our February meeting, outreach to other fishermen's organizations, and to have a more robust industry discussion relative to the topics outlined in your notice for this hearing. So thank you both. Those would be my final comments.
Great. Thanks, Duncan. Appreciate it, really do. Okay, I think at that point we've exhausted the folks who want to provide some comments. So thank you all for those in the room and those who dialed in. We really appreciate that. Just as a closing comments, written public comments in terms of this process accepted through December 19th. We will get those posted along with this meeting on the Alaska Online Public Notices in the same tool that we use to issue this. So that'll be there for people to look at. Again, any other comments on extending this process? We appreciate that. Yeah, I think with that, don't have anything much more. Yeah, Melee?
Yes, I would just like to make a comment. I just want to say thank you for all of those that, have dialed in. And I also want to really excited to have here with us Gwen, who's 17 years old, commercial fisherman here across the table from me, and those that were here present. You know, what I just want to comment is that, one thing I really appreciate that, this exercise that, the governor had put forth. And, when we received it here in the office, one of the things that it made me think about how wonderful it is that really CFEC, we did not have to wait for a governor's order to come through. What I've seen, here at the Entry Commission, how the relationship that the Entry Commission have with the industry, the open door relationship, that, fishermen call us on the phone, we're there, we are here to advocate for the commercial fishermen. That is our interest. And so that's, my comment. That is something that I'm excited and that I enjoy working here, is that it's wonderful that the governor put out this exercise, but that, I see commercial fishermen or with our commissioner coming to their door at any time. And so I want to thank the commissioner for that, and thank you all for participating. And in regards to our notices, yes, definitely, please, email us. And I know we've also had those that did not have emails. There were also written notices that we made sure 3,000 of it went also out in the mail as well. And so we, of course, electronically, things to move information quickly as possible. So we will definitely work to make sure that we get, good emails and so, yeah, I just want to say thank you all for being here today. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Bailey. Commissioner Green, do you have any closing remarks before we adjourn?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody who submitted written testimony. And it does always give us great insight into the challenges that you face in the industry. And for those who haven't yet, we still have time for you, as Glenn pointed out, until the 19th to submit that written comment. And we urge you to do so. And thank you for everybody online and in person. It was great having you here, and thank you.
Great, thanks for that. Well, with that, I want to thank also Josh and Dan for getting us through this. Gremlin smashers. It's a little crazy. So thanks for your help. With that, it's 10:27 and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Yeah, bit of a